recording you talking about a hang up. Like, I'm right here. Okay. I can talk. I still have time. Alright, so first we're going to start by sitting with our feet together, the soles of your feet together, and then just rocking side to side. Allowing your sits bones, or that bony part that pokes out underneath your butt, opening a little bit wider. And then once you find your widest seat, also going to take your feet up from underneath you and sit up nice and tall. The line that the soles of your feet make align up with your pubic bone, your heart space, your sternum, in between your ribs, through your nose, your third eye, and up to your crown. Allowing your hands to grip right above the front of your ankles, allowing this to tilt your pelvis forward. Allowing your true center to be pressed into your mat, into your seat. Some strain or some pull or some tension might be between your arms and your shoulders as you sit up tall. That's okay. Breathe deep here. Gently sway side to side, keeping that same tension in your arms, but allowing your belly to melt left and right. And then find stillness again, taking another deep breath in. Heart proud, shoulders pulled back along your spine, chin lifted from your chest, neck long, crown upward, and even your breath allows you to sit up a little bit taller. Deep breath in here, and deep breath out. Slide your hands up to the front of your knees, sinking back a little bit. Again, melting left to right here, side to side. Slowly churning in your seat, starting in your belly, going clockwise. Allowing that churning to expand into your hips, into where your hips press into your mat. Gentle bend in your elbows, your heart comes forward. And slow this circular movement down to flow with your breath. Aligning as you inhale, your heart comes forward, your shoulders come back, chin upward as you circle your front body. And as you exhale, you sink your chin into your chest, Your heart pulls back, your seat pulls back, you roll forward. Moving with your breath. Opposite direction. We're doing like seated cat-cows with our feet like this. I don't know about you, but I've been cracking this whole time. You said it hurts. It's so good because it's like, so do smaller circles. Yeah, even if you do small ones, that's okay too. They don't have to be exaggerated. It's whatever feels good. I'm just a glutton for, my hips really crack, so there's very few things that open me up like this, but this is such a good hip opener. As well as like tuning your low spine, your upper body, make it more like a slinky. Yes. It's the, yeah, so even just here of like moving and bringing your heart forward and your shoulders back, take a minute there, like breathe in, like I learned I figured out something that was weighted yesterday that was like, oh, this is great. But it was literally like I was holding weights and going like this because it was opening like my shoulders gently was pulling me upward, but I don't want it like nothing drastic. That's what I mean. So when you take these movements, if it hurts, scale it back. So it's not hurting, but that motion, like if you don't do it and you keep on guarding it, it's only gonna get worse. That's why it's like, still do it, but just make it smaller. So you can even do it here if it's just really in your seat, because that's where opening up in your shoulders happens from your hips. So if you exaggerate that in your hips and kind of keep your upper body pretty chill, you still will have like great opening, if that makes sense. Yeah, no, your back does end up curving. So when you go forward in the circle, you pull your shoulders back and your heart like shines forward, so everything is wide open in the front, and then you slouch as you pull back. And then you pull forward and lift up and then slouch. Oh yeah, no, that was just to sit and to like kind of breathe in and find that like tense spot that like called us to sit up as like our tallest posture, but after that, we can let that go. And then whenever you're done with that, stretch your legs out. Again, lift your knee out from under you. Look at us, it's almost 9 o'clock already. Love this. Now we're going to take our hands and we're going to just press our palms together in front of us, sitting up tall again. Breathing in, really like sitting into our, so I like to like plug it in like a 3 prong. So our sits bones are the 2 prongs, and then our tailbone is that 3rd prong. We want to like sit balanced in both, if that makes sense. You know how like prongs can get too close and then they don't get in the outlet right? We want to be open, so that means our feet are a little bit wider than hips position. I argue with a lot of yogis about this because I'm like, it does not feel good for me personally knowing that like there's a fat ass in here somewhere in my spirit. It has a fucking dump truck. I need the hips for that, so it has to be open. So we just have to open up in that way. So I like to have my feet a little bit wider than my hips. So then just sitting up nice and tall, and again, pressing your hands together, allowing your shoulders to melt down. And just breathe here and tilt side to side. First looking and seeing where you're tilting. And this turn is happening above your belly button. So up to your belly button is really, we're not moving there. We're moving just gently in our, literally in our like thorax. So just our rib space, our lung space. Just moving side to side and then rolling your shoulders. And taking one more breath in, leaning upward, lifting your chin. You feel that in the middle of your back? I've been trying to get to this fucking point in my back for a while. And then we're gonna slowly lower our hands down, fingertips pointing away from our body, thumbs pointing outward, and just sinking into our palms, lifting our hearts upward, lifting our chins upward. And your shoulder blades squeezing along your spine on your back body. You can tilt your head side to side. How does that feel? And another one that's like deeper, like, so this is like a very supported fish pose. Let me turn so you can see me. I'm gonna take a little drink. But this is to open up all of this space, because this is where the slouch begins, and then that curvature, you can't fight that once that shit starts. I believe it. Yep, so then just take a minute. This is nice, where you like bring your hands up, palms together, bend at your elbows, and just rock back, like open up in your armpits. I feel like it's like opening up your wings. I keep my hands behind my neck, but open my elbows outward, and that opens up weirdly in my chest space. I have to do that often. That always feels really nice. Yep. And it's like we have to do this stuff, like we do all of that. So if you think about it, the slouching comes from here, which is overstretching of this. The same way you open up this way, we have to open up this way. Because we need this space to open up, yeah. So it's more like leaning up against the wall and opening up your arm this way would be the exact opposite of that cross body. So if I do this, like put my hands, oh, you can't see it. Hold on. If I like put my hand on the wall and I open up this way, that's opening up all this space. That's where you really need to open up. That shit is killer. Yep. So this way, when I tell you this whole space, super tight into your chest, I don't want to keep on touching the R&B though, but Literally. So put your hand on the wall. That's the exact opposite of this one. That's opening you up this way. This one that we do is like this one. Like trying to get your elbows as close together as possible and then opening up. Because it's like your heart has to lift upwards through your shoulders. Yes. That's another one too. Yep. So again, for the YouTubers, we were talking about the natural, like, oh, we're gonna do our basketball opening, our arm stretches. For our slouchers, we need to do this space opening. So that is gonna be hand on the wall and allowing all of this to open up here. So that's the opposite of here. When we do this one, we wanna do here. Bring our elbows together as close as possible. You see how my shoulders curl outward and then heart lifts up through your shoulders. So like your shoulders lower, your heart lifts up. And then you should be able to open up your neck space a little bit more. Like I can like crack my neck a little bit more when I do that. Yeah. From there, so that was some seated stuff that we just did. That was like, I think like great for before bed. You know, waking up in the morning before bed. We're already like out of bed space, so that's not like a time to do a bed routine. So another thing that we did was we just did cat and cow, but we did that in a seated position. So what we just did, that we were now doing in its original position, is knees. I like again, I said I like my knees a little bit wider than my hips. Hands underneath your shoulders. We can do some, I like to do some wrist stretches before yoga as well as before working out. And I can't believe we've already done 20 minutes and I haven't even logged into my watch. So happy I just realized. It's okay though. Let's bring our hands to the side, pointing outward, and then just rock side to side. We're not even moving into cat-cow, we're doing some like wrist stretches first. Maybe you can do some circles. So this is like wrists and knees. All the joints are kind of moving. And though our knees and our wrists aren't ball joints, your shoulders and your hips can move right along because those are hit on like ball socket joints. We go in the opposite direction. And then we're gonna point our fingers towards our hips, sink our hips back over our heels because being directly onto our palms like this is gonna hurt. But this again is gonna stretch in your forearms. So you wanna lean back, fingertips facing your knees. Gently rock your hips side to side. Yep. And then bring your fingertips back straight. Yep. You don't want to lean straight on them. It's definitely torture. Next, you want to bring your hands to fists. And press into your fists. And again, rock into that as whatever feels comfortable for you. Once you find a place that feels where you can find stillness, pull as if you have a thread pulling your belly button. Pull that close to your spine. which will tilt your pelvis so your tailbone, your spine is naturally long from your crown to your tailbone. You want the front of your toes, the top of your toes to be pressed into the mat. Keeping your core and your belly engaged. Just take a deep breath here. A deep breath out. And then we're going to lean back again, sinking our hips closer to our heels. We're going to bring the back of our hands again onto our mat, but this time our fingertips pointing towards one another, and then we're going to bring our hands, just open and close them into fists or whatever you can, and that's another stretch. So opening and closing your hands. It's like, I feel like it's like the reverse for carpal tunnel. So let me get closer to you to show you. So you have your hands, like if this hand is the floor, you have your hand there. It's pressed, and then you're opening and closing. And like when I say you barely can probably go like this, if this is your first time, yeah, like you're not getting to a full, if you're getting to a full fist, you have absolutely great like wrist mobility, you're into all of that, because that shit is a lot. I barely can get to like here, but just even having that on the palm, yeah, so laying this part of your hand onto the floor, yep, and then opening and closing as you're leaning onto it. It's just for a stretch. If you think about carpal tunnel, our wrists are like this the whole time. That's doing it the opposite way. Yeah, that's catching it, like reversing it, and just having stuff, making sure you have nerve. Yeah, so lean back and do it so you're not pressing so hard on it, but that is good for like the typing. Like you said, all the stuff where you're doing like this, you're not going like this. You're not doing the extending. You're doing all of this like this closing of your hands. So you want to like open up your hands, and that's one way that you strengthen it in a reverse way. Yeah, so not too much on it, just enough. But that was like for the wrist. But if you're gonna like lift weights and stuff, like your wrists end up hurting. Like I feel like that certain things for me getting into the gym made it like a turn off, because like my body would hurt. Like my shoulders hurt with the bar, but I like want to squat with the bar. Like I just feel like certain shit is just not for me because it's just too heavy. So this is good. So we have like wrist, shoulder stuff again. We talked about standing up against the wall. Every time you want to go like this, find a way to open up this way. Because it's like you know what to do, but that's all we've ever been taught. Is crossing our bodies, stretching our backs open. No, we need to open up our heart space area. So we gotta open up here. In that, like, in not that curl. You know, like the posture for, if you think about it, for modeling. Like, you know that needs to be corrected, but it's not gonna get corrected by doing it more. It'll be for the other way. So it just becomes where naturally, when we're not. So many things. So but does it feel weird if you naturally correct your posture all the time? You know what I mean? Like it's not gonna feel weird if that's how you stand. So that's how I'm trying to get to that point. So then. I just want to have a big body. I do. So, let's see. We started even, so Mani made me so hyped because she talked about, so I was like, yo, sit with your feet, how we started with the soles of our feet together. I was like, sit like this, sit like this. You know, that's pretty much how she said she birthed. That was super fucking cool. That she said, that's called cobbler pose. So that's a really good hip opener, but like a good balancing hip opener for the tops of your hips and the bottom of your hips. And you can figure out that different pressure or where more opening is happening based on how you press your feet together. like your feet connect with everywhere in your body. So if like you press the toes of your feet, like your big toes together when you're sitting like that more, it opens up a different part of your hips versus the pinky toe side. So it's really cool where like if you really sit down, it's one of those micro movements that if you need to find in meditation, because I'm like ADHD meditation, like it's really hard for me to find complete stillness. So I like to find these like micro movements that I can do. Yeah, so those things are important for me as well. So we did that. We can do some goddess pose. So let's bring our feet wide. So let's start at our mat, the bottom of our mat. So base your mat, feet wide, palms facing forward. This is just your normal stance. Gentle bend in your knees and tuck your hips so that like if you place your hands at the top of your hips, like right here, you can, not trying to on purpose, my butt is naturally sticking out. And you can tell I have a pelvic tilt where I want to keep my pelvis pretty balanced. So now when my hands are here, it's more of a balance, which encourages you to pull up, like zip up your pants type vibe. And then that makes like, I don't want to have this pouch belly, so then you kind of expand, lift your heart off of your hips. So that makes your belly a little bit longer here. Your heart space opens up. This part at the top of your shoulders opens up. That's your décolletage. Shoulders pull back. And that's like how I envision correcting my posture. And that's just the upward standing pose. So that's how you have it. That's how you can still have a gentle bend in your knees, but everywhere is engaged. Then when we're still standing here, spread your toes and kind of like balance now into the four corners of your feet. So both sides of your heels is a point, and that kind of gets out in trapezoid into the bridge of your toes. So your pinky toes, your big toe, and just balance out how you distribute your weight, and again, how you distribute your weight with your posture engaged. And then from here, I want you to make your hips as wide as possible. So now it's the inner part of your thighs or the inner part of your legs. So if you breathe in here, breathe in from, it's like the domes of your body. We have 5 of them. I learned this, I was like, this is the first time I ever heard this breath work, and it was really cool. We have 5 domes in our body. So that's the sole, like the arch in your foot is one dome. So breathe into the arch of your feet. That breathes to the inside of your body. Your next dome is your pelvic floor. So that breathes and that lifts up as you breathe in. Then your diaphragm, then the roof of your mouth, and then the top of your crown. And as you exhale, imagine your breath like washes over the outside. So down, outside of your crown, down past your shoulders, your heart, your hips, the outside of your thighs, your legs. So like that type of breathing, I think is really cool. But also like, I know for me, I've been having such pain in my arches and in my feet. That's one that I like try to breathe in, and it's like, oh, I'm not like collapsing into my arches. It's one that I also do when I'm wearing shoes that are super painful for me in that aspect. And then we can honestly, if you're ready, we can get to working out. But that movement and all that opening and awareness, we open up in our hips too. So it's really cool. Because it's so simple. You could be doing the same workouts, and because you have one tweak of a posture, it's engaging different really big muscles in your legs that it fucks it up, and it literally has to do with our posture. Like everything that we see, when we see these workouts, that's for anatomically correct. Most of us have like something that throws us off that we need to first balance before we even need to incorporate these workouts. And I feel like for me, the first thing that comes into like an awareness. And if you can't like access or engage that muscle, then it's like you really should backtrack before you start adding weight to it. And it's like free, you know, body weight wise, we're already struggling with this. So, and I feel like even that makes a huge difference. Like for me, that feels like a workout, and we didn't lift the fucking thing. All we did was correct posture. We haven't lifted it or added anything to it. So. Are you gonna go to the gym part, or are you gonna stay home? Okay.